Hello and welcome to Your Money, Your Mission, the podcast designed to turn complex financial issues into actionable advice, powered by Johnson Financial Group. Today I have with me two very special guests. First, Johnson Financial Group CEO Jim Popp. Welcome back, Jim.
Thanks, Kelly. It's great to be here. Crash your party again.
I appreciate it. You have a very special introduction to make today.
I do. You know, today's a great day to introduce Dominic CeCi to our podcast universe. Dominic, we've been fortunate to have Dominic as part of our team at Johnson Financial Group for the last 2 years, and Dominic has taken on the role of Chief Investment Officer at Johnson Financial Group, and we are really thrilled to have him here and talking about some of the things in his life and some of the things that he sees going into the future. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell everybody this is kind of not a new role for Dominic. Dominic's been at this for a while. He's been at it with us for a while behind the scenes and kind of as part of the broader team. So I'm really looking forward to having him here today.
Well, thank you for doing that. I can echo all of those sentiments. Dominic, welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
So you've been here 2 years, as Jim pointed out. So you've had a chance to get to know the team, deal with some of the clients. What can you tell us that you think is the greatest strength at Johnson Financial Group?
Well, this is a really easy question. It's our people. There's no doubt about that. And Kelly, you and I have kind of joked about how we have some kind of hiring superpower here. Right?
Yes, we have.
So I've been amazed in the last 2 years, all the people I've met and how great they really are. And I'm still meeting people on the banking side, especially, right? It's amazing.
Yes, and based on your experience in this role, I know that you're taking these responsibilities on during what we think is going to be a pretty incredible year economically, globally, politically. What kinds of things should our clients be looking at as we enter 2024?
Yeah, I think the election is the one big thing because we only get that every 4 years. It really tugs at people's emotions, and unfortunately that can sometimes lead to investment errors, right? Everything else is kind of business as usual. And that might sound dismissive or flippant, but you ask the question from the investor's perspective. And so I think the investor has to always keep in mind that bad news is just noise, right? That's the definition of noise. And any investor is going to be way better off if they don't get wrapped up in that swirl of negative news. But if you can't avoid it, you should really at least realize that those newsworthy events are not the drivers of long-term investment returns, which is really where your focus should be. So keep your eye on your personal and financial goals. Don't worry about the news too much because that can permanently impair your chances of success. And I mean, look, a bad news cycle does not necessarily translate into bad times for investors. Just look at 2023. There was tons of bad news last year, right? I mean, pretty much every kind you could think of. And yet it was ultimately a pretty good year for investors.
Right. So when investors do hear this noise and get panicked, your advice to them?
I think it's really important that you have a financial plan, an advisor, someone to help keep you on track, someone you feel comfortable calling to bounce things off of. If you're caught up in that swirl, and they can do things for you. They can rerun your plan. They can run it through scenarios. There's all kinds of stuff that's available. So that might help you. I think keeping perspective can be pretty important, right? Having kind of a historical market framework, I guess. One thing that I'd like to kind of keep handy, I look at this all the time, is there's a chart, and there's a whole bunch of different variations of this, but the one that's in my mind at the moment it's the Dow Jones Market Index, and it's from 1896 to 2016, so 120 years of history. Right. And there's maybe 200 annotations on there of all the things that have happened along that time frame, right? And it's everything you could imagine. I mean, there's world wars, presidential assassinations, unbelievable like technological innovation that totally changed the way people's jobs work, all the things that people worry about today, and they've happened throughout history. And you see, the market just kind of continues to do its thing. And if you were a patient investor, you were rewarded for kind of sticking to the plan.
Is that the key, patient investor fundamentals?
I think so. Yeah. Right. Again, going back to what I said earlier, like the news doesn't drive investment returns, right? I mean,
long term.
Yeah, it can short term for sure. But if you've got a plan and you just stick to that plan, you can sort that noise out, and then you can much better chance of success of achieving your goals, right?
So Dominic, you've had a lot of experience managing clients' portfolios in your past before you joined Johnson Financial Group. And I was curious, you certainly had to, your history doesn't go back to the 1800s, but I know during your time, you likely have experienced some really tough times. What was the toughest time in your experience, and how did you help your clients through that?
So I think the easy answer to that question might be, 2020 with the COVID market. Because that was just a tough time to be an investor. It was very uncertain. But that actually happened really, really fast, right? It was down fast, it was up fast. And because of that, I feel like the conversations didn't last that long. The year that's actually more in my head, and maybe it's just because of what's coming up this year, is 2016. Okay. 2016 was actually a really interesting year. There was Brexit and there was a whole bunch of other noise going on that year, but it was an election year, right? And you had the two candidates, Trump and Clinton. I think and roughly you had like 30% odds on Trump and maybe 70 or 65% odds on Clinton, right? Mm-hmm. To win. The less probable outcome is what happened. But leading up to that whole thing, I mean, I think every conversation I had that year was about politics. And it was talking people off the ledge, and their emotions were just so strong, right?
Right.
And I had to like reinvent myself as a political pundit, and it was really strange because I'm an investor.
Do you expect that to be a lot of what you do this year?
I think, unfortunately, that's kind of where it goes, yeah. Again, there's just that emotional like force that goes with the elections. And I saw an interesting graphic recently that it showed the trust essentially in all of the core institutions, whether it's the media or any branch of government, and they're just all at all-time lows. Right. And so there's just this, divisiveness or whatever it is, and people just don't trust anything. Mm-hmm. And so it's creating this like chaotic feeling and a lot of uncertainty, and that turns into fear, and then yeah.
All the more reason to have your financial advisors being able to clarify some of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remove some of the noise, maybe.
The thing that's interesting about 2016, though, is, I mean, I had people on both sides of the aisle, right? Mm-hmm. And they all thought that it was going to be bad, which was really interesting. But ultimately, the election happened, the less probable outcome was realized, and 2017 was like one of the great years of the market, right? I mean, 2017, you had the whole year, you had just unbelievably low volatility. I think if I'm remembering correctly, every single month that year had a positive return. I believe that's the only time that's ever happened in market history, right? Mm-hmm. And so you had all these people just predicting the end of the world, and kind of the opposite is what happened in 2017, which reminds me of a quote that I think is Art Cashin, and it's never bet on the end of the world because it only happens once, right?
All right. So do you have a philosophy of investing that guides you? I think I'm starting to pick it up, but...
Yeah, I read a lot, so it's always evolving, but I think it's pretty simple, right? Ignore the noise, stick to the plan, take what the market gives you. You could make that even shorter. It's essentially win by not losing.
Interesting. So Dominic, let's switch now to getting to know you a little bit on the personal side.
Sure.
So you are married and have some children, is that right?
That is right. Yep, I'm married to my wife, Emily. We're going on year 12. We've got 2 kids, Dante and Ariana. They are 10 and 7. And we also have 2 very small, somewhat obnoxious dogs.
It sounds like a very busy household.
Yeah.
And are you originally from Wisconsin?
I am, yeah. In fact, the house I live in now, I think, is 15 minutes from the house I grew up in. So,
so living where you were born, and family here as well?
Yep.
Okay, extended family, all right. And the big question that I think clients want to know is, are you a Packer fan?
I am. I'm a very sad Packer fan right now.
Good choice. Good choice.
They overachieved this year, so...
Well, Dominic, welcome so much. I really did enjoy working so closely with you, and I'm so looking forward to what you can offer my partners and our clients as we move forward. It's just a delight not only to have you on the podcast, but to have you as part of our team. And thank you, Jim, for joining us today to introduce Dominic, this very important thing. Jim, are there other things in store for us at JFG in 2024?
You know, Kelly, there are always things in store for us. We've got a lot going on. We're We're really happy with the position we're in. We love having opportunities for folks like Dominic to move into bigger roles and do a little bit more for us. And it makes 2024 really an exciting year for us. So we're looking forward to it. And obviously, I know Dom for the last couple of years, so it's not a big change for us. I know that it's a change for some of the folks who are listening maybe to this and have seen him, but boy, they're going to be really happy.
I agree. I agree. Again, thank you both for joining us. And thank you all for listening to Your Money, Your Mission. If you have questions, be sure to go to the show notes, type your question, and hit submit. And be sure to subscribe to our episodes so that you don't miss anything in 2024. In February, we are going to have our Love is in the Air episode, where we discuss financial considerations for those that are getting married and the consequences when love goes awry. And in March, on Women's History Month, we are going to have an episode on women in the money relationship and women in business, and focus on how it has evolved, especially when women are engaged in predominantly male typical work environments. So those should be very, very interesting. And don't miss Your Money, Your Mission, the podcast designed to turn complex financial information into actionable advice, powered by Johnson Financial Group.
This podcast is not a recommendation to buy or sell any investment or financial product. Whether a particular investment or financial solution is right for you depends on the facts of your particular situation. Please consult your own professional advisors prior to taking any action based on the content of this podcast. Wealth management services are provided through Johnson Bank and Johnson Wealth Inc., Johnson Financial Group companies. Additional information about Johnson Wealth Inc., a registered investment advisor, and its investment advisor representatives is available at adviserinfo.sec.gov. Not FDIC insured, no bank guarantee, may lose value.